Laugh out loud, it's the place to be, where geeky minds meet so naturally. From pixel legends to blockbuster heart, dive right in, let's set this vibe apart.
Oh, laugh out loud. It's a brand new year where you could spend every day of it right here.
Yeah, actually, we might have enough episodes where you could spend a good chunk of the year listening to our back catalog. I don't know if you fill up the whole year, but you could try.
You can just rewatch the videos. I mean, they're worth rewatching.
Yes, just watch them over and over and over again. All the way
Just
through.
memorize them.
Yeah, memorize them. Make sure you like and subscribe.
So if you watch an episode that's an hour and a half long and you memorize it, we will invite you on the show to recite it.
Sure, that'd make a nice easy week. Just be like, okay,
You really would.
and we'll hit record. You talk. We'll talk in the beginning, and then you talk through the middle of it, and then we'll come back and wrap the show up. And
Well, we probably won't even come back.
well, yeah, they're resending it. We're already wrapping the show up and starting it, so we don't even have to be there, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, you just record yourself reciting it and send it to us. We'll just throw it into the show. We'll put a beginning and end on, and we'll call it the episode. Your episode.
You get your very own episode of someone else's show. Yes.
It's your time to shine out there. That's our new contest for this year.
Memorize one of our shows word for word completely, and you can go and recite it, and it'll be your voice, not ours. Okay, got it.
Yes, exactly. So, but I do have to say, I think we pretty much have the best show on the internet. I mean, I could be biased, but I'm not. So I think we definitely.
Yeah, I'm completely honest.
I mean, so take that to the bank, Jack.
You know who the most righteous? Moses is the most righteous man in the Bible, according to Moses.
There you go.
If the guy himself wrote this about himself, I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, most people have a pretty high opinion of themselves. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then some people like me don't really have to because they already it's just inherent that everyone knows. So we got some stuff to go over here. We're gonna touch up on the last episode a bit because both of us had something that kind of appeared out of nowhere that should have been on that episode, which was the wish list game.
Yeah, my thing was kind of like I went and we finished the show, and like literally as soon as we finished last week, I was like, oh, I forgot to mention. And
yeah, unfortunately mine I knew about, but it didn't appear on Steam until I think January 1st. So it fits as well too for now. So we're going to go over those, and then we've got a Ben Does It so no one else ever has to again, because pretty much everyone has done this already. And
yeah, it is something like if you haven't done this already, and I don't know where you've been because it's like everywhere. Everybody has done this.
Yeah, and I'm thinking everyone regretted doing this, but that's just my take on it.
Well,
so
wherever you are, no matter whoever you are, I'm sure you've done what I'm going to be reviewing today.
Yeah, and speaking of Moses, I think Moses even did this one. So everybody's done this. So first off, let's go ahead and rewind back to the wish list. And I'll go ahead and share my screen. And Ben, once you see it, you can talk about, this is a game that is high on your wish list, I believe.
Yeah, I guess. I'm interested to try it. If it's good as the other ones. It's this little known game. Not many people know about this series. It's called Grand Theft Auto, I think it's pronounced. And they're coming out with their 6th game in November from a company called Rockstar, I think they're called. And
I think you have it wrong a little. I believe the title's French. I think it's Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out. Grand Theft Auto 6 it's coming out this November. It's going to be available on all different systems and platforms. They're currently saying that the game is going to be, get ready for this, over 600 gigabits in size. So if you're planning to get the physical version of this, it is going to come with a lot of discs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like okay, so a 4K Blu-ray can hold 100 gigs. So assuming that they would have to do 7 4K Blu-rays to handle the 4K Blu-rays are Blu-ray XLs for all you nerds out there. And yeah, so 4 Blu-ray XLs at 100 gigabytes, or no, 7 at 100 gigabytes apiece to store this game if they did a physical copy, which they are not going to do. Their physical copy is going to be a download code.
Well, they could do the physical copy. They just got to compress the crap out of it. I mean, it may end up looking like Minecraft Theft Auto, but it could work.
It's going to come with like one disc, and all that disc is just the program that starts to download.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'd expect if you just get one disc.
It's like, it just says like Grand Theft Auto install, and it's like, how come this thing is only like, only 3 megabytes? Get it up, and like, it's just like, now downloading game. See you tomorrow.
That would be, that'd be great. It's actually 3 megabytes. You just boot it up. It looks like DOS. And it's like a very retro Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, it looks like it takes place in Miami Vice anyway.
I know they are doing it is Vice City, so they might as well have the beginning from Vice City.
Yeah, so make it. So seriously, make it a 3 meg DOS game, and see how that goes. See how that goes over with everybody.
Have it be an adventure where you have to type everything you do.
Oh, like
you see a car. Would you like to rob it?
You gotta type in look up, get paperclip. I don't know what paperclip is. Get paper C. I don't know what paper C is. Get P clip. Got P clip.
I remember there was one of I forget what game it was. I only played one of those, and it was one of those where it was like I think you could like make your own if you knew basic. You can make your own, like, choose your own adventure game, but then you'd sit there forever, and it'd be like, well, what's the point of me playing this? Yeah. It's like I filled the whole damn thing. I know what it's gonna. Nobody wanted to play it. Choose your own. By the time I'm learning how to make these, nobody's interested in playing these.
Yeah.
I'm learning at it on the tail end of when these things are around. So it's not like I'm like, well, geez, Ben, you could have shared it with your friends. One of my friends wouldn't want to play this. I was just making a make your own adventure text adventure game, and I was like, no one's ever gonna play this. I only like made it for a little bit because I realized like, well, what am I making this for? No one's gonna want to play this.
Do you still have it? Because if so, I'll play it.
No, that was years and years ago. That was like on my first computer.
I would totally play it. I would totally play it just to see what your choose your adventure was like.
I don't remember it being that good. I just remember like I was putting something together. I didn't even get that far. I think I got to the part like you put your name in, and like I think, okay, now it's calling you by your name, and this is kind of boring.
Well, I mean,
I don't like programming, which is a problem. Like programming is very slow and methodical. It's not for me. I'd rather just say, this is the idea that I have. Go make this happen for me.
Well, you say it's not very good, but Ben, have you actually played a lot of these RPG Maker games?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I almost bought one of those too. I'm using RPG Maker, and I'm like, well, then I got to go and like name all the characters and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, I give them credit. Even if it comes out bad, it's still a lot of work. So that's the one that's on your list.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 6. It's supposed to, what they actually said, the Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to have a church in it. This one of the bigger churches in the United States. They reached out, or it might have been from a different country, but the point is, a big church reached out to Rockstar and said, "Hey, if we, do all the back end and stuff for you, can we just?" I guess they have a church already on Grand Theft Auto 5 online, and they just want to make it official for Grand Theft Auto 6. So they asked them, and Grand Theft Auto 6 was like, "Sure, we'll put a church in." I went, okay. Because they're thinking, well, you're never gonna want this because you're making this game. It's called Grand Theft Auto, so your game is all about theft, and it's at Vice City, so you're not gonna want like a church there. And they're like, no, we want this to be as realistic as possible. And if some of our players want their character to go to church on Sunday morning, shit, we don't care.
There we go. So Grand Theft Auto is, I guess you could say, it's now on the level of Bible Adventures, or Super Noah's Ark.
Yeah, Super Noah's Ark, the greatest Bible game ever made up until that point.
Yep.
Which was not that hard of a hill to climb. So,
yeah, true. Okay, so for me, mine is actually this game right here, Control Resonant, which, so okay, so Control. So I've never played any of like the Alan Wake games or any of those before. I ended up getting Control for free, and I think I got through like Epic Games or something like that, and I was just so blown away with it that I, I definitely got all the way through it and loved it. There were some parts of it where I got really frustrated, but it was just a really good and trippy experience.
Hmm.
So, Barrett's actually the one that mentioned to me that this was coming out. So, oh, that looks so Tron right there. Um, so I'm super excited to see whenever this comes out in 2026. And what's really awesome is this guy, really cool guy,
Mhm.
sent me something in the mail that's going to help me play this
Cool.
because I don't think my integrated graphics will handle this all too well.
Yeah, integrated graphics can be like you can. Yeah, no, you're always better off with a video card unless you got like a really old video card. But
Yeah. So I'm definitely look forward to playing this and seeing how high I can knock the graphics up. And I'm not even a graphics person, but hey, why not? You know?
the first thing I do when I get a new video card now, because it shows how long Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out. I played the Grand Theft Auto 5 their test thing to see how far and I push the graphics as far as I can, and then I have it run its test and see if the Grand Theft Auto testing crashes.
Yeah.
Because if they can't handle it, it's gonna crash. So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's good to have like a test area that you can go and like use when you're changing hardware. It's like whenever I'm like testing emulators, like I always play Sonic the Hedgehog for Sega because I know like I know how it's supposed to feel, so I know I'll play Mario to see how the Nintendo emulator feels, and so it's good to have like that. The same thing for like when you're testing out your hardware to have a game that you used and a good chunk of them to see, okay, how does this look on this one? Does it feel the same? You know?
Or you don't even have to play a good chunk of it. You just have to have tested enough in emulators. Like, for instance, Rolling Thunder 3 is mine for the Sega Genesis. I don't think I played that game all that much, but it's my go-to game every single time. So I've gotten to the point where I can just go into it and do the first level and feel it, even though I haven't put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
So for NES, for me, it's Contra, and that should be everybody's go-to game.
Obviously, I am Mario because I've had a lot of experience with Mario. I play like Mario 1 just to make sure it feels right.
Gotcha.
And so anyways, that's one of the things I could talk to. I have two things to talk about for Ben Dudley because I know that these are definitely two things that you wouldn't do yourself. So,
Okay.
you ready to jump into that?
Yep, I just closed that out, and the mic is all yours.
Okay, so first of all, I went and I did I went and I bought a Mac Mini and I've been using it as my new Plex server. So I hooked it up to my TV and I put some emulators on it because I had emulators on my Apple TV and I'm using a Bluetooth controller and there's a noticeable delay in control. There's noticeable lag and I don't it's driving me nuts. So I'm like, okay, let me try it with the Mac Mini. Again, I set it up with the Mac Mini. I'm still getting the same delay. So now I know it's the controller. I thought first it was the emulator, it's the controller. It has to be the Bluetooth controller that I'm using. So I went and signed up for Nintendo Online with the expansion pack because it'll give me a chance to try it out. And their emulators are spot on. I don't like the fact that they have these borders on the side, but when you're playing it, after a while, you don't even see the border. You're just playing the game. And I started playing through Mario 3. I made it to like World 5. I'm still there. I saved my game. I didn't feel like continuing playing, but it was like I was having fun just playing Mario. And then I have Mario Wonder, so I played that for a little bit. And then I played Super Mario World, or the Super Mario Maker 2, I mean, because now I have the online, I can download levels, and I downloaded this insanely hard level, but I was able to beat it. And I was like, wow, I'm really good at Mario. Like, I don't know if I count myself like a professional Mario player, but I'm pretty damn decent at this game.
So you could actually go on the Wizard then, and you could take on Fred Savage's brother.
Oh, I beat the crap out of him. That little punk.
California.
There's your California and a little California. But yeah, that's what I did with that. And then the other one, I will have to pull up something real quick. So, Mike, if you want to talk for a second, maybe set the audience up for this. Maybe.
Okay. So I got really nothing to say. I'm working on at the same time you are right now, trying to get set up for our topic. So people sit tight. We're having technical difficulties here. And I'm curious to see what you're pulling up, Ben. I'll be honest here.
Yeah, well, it's a big thing, and I just need to get my computer to give me a small little script. I mean, I might just have to do it on the fly, but I've been doing it. You can tell when I do it on the fly because it's not as good.
In the meantime, I might as well mention what our topic is that's going to be coming up after Ben does it, so you don't have to, which is games that we waited this long to find out that this game is trash, which is going to be a lot of fun because I think a lot of these are going to be big name titles that are probably going to ruffle some feathers. And I think I actually have some topic titles in here that might actually not sit too well with Ben.
Okay.
So that's going to be exciting. So that's coming up after Ben's done all the stuff that he has to, but hasn't yet.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Because near or far, we have it right here. If you haven't figured out what movie it is yet, you don't know the soundtrack. Titanic's a 1997 epic romance and disaster film written and directed by James Cameron. Set aboard the RMS Titanic during its doomed maiden voyage in 1912, the star films Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet as Jack Dawson and Rose DeWitt Vacatur? Wow, what a name. Vacatur. Two young people from vastly different social classes who fall in love while crossing the Atlantic. The film is known for its large-scale production, groundbreaking visual effects, and attention to historical detail. Despite early skepticism due to its high budget, Titanic became a massive critical and commercial hit, winning 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and becoming one of the highest-grossing films of all time.
And that's why I said, if you haven't, everyone's done this.
Everybody's seen this movie at some point. If you haven't, then man, you just don't watch films, I guess. I remember when this came out. This came out in 1997, and I went to the theater, and I think I saw it there. It was supposed to be this huge movie that everybody's like, "Oh, dude, you got to go see Titanic. You got to see Titanic. You have to see Titanic." And I get a job at Radio Shack when I turned 18, and Radio Shack used to sell Sprint PCS and Sprint long distance. And we used to do a thing where if you signed up for Sprint long distance, we would give you a gift. And it was sometimes one of the normal ones would be $10 off whatever you're ordering or whatever you're buying at Radio Shack. We'd give you $10 off if you signed up for Sprint. Eventually, what they did is they were doing get a copy of Titanic on VHS. And we literally had in our back room dozens and dozens and dozens of copies of this movie. And like people would sign up for Sprint and we would just hand them a copy of the movie. And it was the craziest promotion I've ever seen. I've never seen that before or since, where signing up for a long distance service got you a copy of a film. But if you look at it, if you look at Titanic Fan 97, if you look him up real quick, you don't have to. I'm just telling the audience. If you look him up, he's a huge Titanic fan. He loves Titanic on VHS. He collects them. He has, I think, up to 5,000 copies of this movie on VHS. And if you look at a sealed copy, because he has plenty of them, it still says has Sprint advertising on the copy of the tape, and that was probably a tape that somebody got for free at Radio Shack for signing up for Sprint long distance, and they just never watched the movie.
Yeah.
But they probably seen it in the theater. Because this movie is 1997, almost 30 years old. Let's review the film. This movie is about a rich kid, about a poor kid who has a lucky hand of poker. They get him onto a ship that ends up killing him. And in the process, he ends up breaking up an arranged marriage. That is a very short way of describing what the plot of the movie is. There's a special effects wise, this thing is amazing. They did a lot of great stuff with the sets. They did a lot of attention to detail. The cinematography is amazing. Something that I learned that I thought was interesting is they did a full-size replica of half of the Titanic, all the exterior shots. So anytime that they're showing them and they're showing parts of the outside of the ship and they're out there, there's only half of that made. So they literally have, instead of doing a full, because I get making the full set would have been too expensive. It was cheaper for them to make all the costumes in 2 different variations. So all the officer uniforms have it where the medals are on one side and another one where the medals are on the other side. And what's is they would flip the film depending on what side of the ship they needed, which I did not know that. So all the costumes that are on there, they have mirror versions of every single costume that they would have to wear depending on what side of the ship they're going to be on. Which means if you really paying attention to their faces, you could probably tell when the thing is flipped.
Or when they're walking backwards.
No, not that type of flipping, Mike. Not that type of.
I know.
It's fast movie. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was well acted. Like I watched it yesterday because I was hanging out with somebody and they wanted to watch Titanic, and I figured, well, since I'm watching this damn movie, I don't think Mike's gonna want to watch Titanic. So let me just go get Titanic out of the way.
Yeah, I remember that message. Do you have any interest in watching Titanic and talking about it? Nope.
Okay, well tomorrow I have a movie review.
So yeah, I'm gonna jump in though. I'm gonna say
I remember before, so you can jump in. Yeah, go ahead.
I've watched this movie once when it was out in the theater, and I have no desire to ever watch it again. I watched it with my parents, and my dad didn't like it because it didn't focus on the history of the Titanic enough, that's great. I love that. I love that review right there. I didn't like it. It wasn't about the history. Perfect. My problem was I didn't like the movie, but there was a scene that made me cry. The scene that made me cry was when they're all the way sticking up and the guy falls off and he's flipping down and he hits the propeller on the way down. My heart was out to that guy because I know that hurt.
Oh yeah, geez, Mike. Yes, it probably did hurt.
Other than that, that's the only scene in the movie that I actually had any sort of feeling or cared about.
If it makes you feel any better, any bruises he would have got from hitting that propeller, I'm pretty sure would have got numbed out by the water.
Exactly. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, you do want to, whenever you injure yourself, you do want to ice it, and he went icing it to the extreme. Vanilla Ice was even jealous of how much he iced it.
Yeah, ice, baby. So let's see here. There's a lot of scenes in it. There's the whole. Okay, so my biggest complaint of the whole movie is this stuff with the old woman in modern day. You don't need any of the modern day scenes. This movie, number one, is way too long. It's 3-4 hours long. It feels like I'm watching this forever. And it's not that it's a bad long movie. There's some scenes that don't really. I'm watching this as an editor last night, and I'm like, there's a lot of stuff you can cut from this and still keep the essence of the movie. It would not ruin the movie at all to cut these scenes. Get rid of all the modern day stuff. When they're exploring the ship, I don't give a shit. Get rid of all of it. All of it. Get rid of the old woman. Just have it where it's this young couple who make it a period piece. It's a complete period piece. Is the first thing I would do. That movie, that would cut half an hour off the film right there. And then there's a lot of scenes where they're kind of repeating information. That stuff can go. There's scenes where they're showing scenes. There's a lot of scenes in the movie where I could tell that if they were cutting for time, this scenes would have been gone. And they're just establishment scenes, showing people doing stuff that they don't really need to show them doing, just to establish them as a character. And it's fine to have all that, but it's like, yeah, it's been a long time since I watched a movie, so I did feel like a lot of the scenes that struck me as scenes that don't need to be there were the ones that I don't remember seeing before, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember this scene. Well, I guess we don't need.
And this is the prime example of how they have to take a movie and they have to cater to I guess I want to see the intellectual level of the average moviegoer, where they can't just have a movie where it's just that crisis itself. They're like, okay, we have to put some sort of love situation in here.
But
The two
the love story is what the whole movie is the crux of the whole movie. You can't take the love story out. I just mean get rid of the stuff that explains that this old woman is like, I don't care about the old woman. I don't care about at all about any of the modern day stuff. I don't care about it. It's like when you're watching The Princess Bride, and they go to like Peter Falk talking to Fred Savage. Just like, that's okay, but you're cutting into the movie. For Princess Bride, when they were doing Princess Bride, I'm like, you're cutting into the story. I'm like, I want to continue watching the story. I mean, yeah, that's great. Fred Savage is in this. Can we continue on with the story, please?
But make it something like the Titanic love story. Don't just call it Titanic, because the movie is not about the boat at this point.
The boat's kind of like it's a character in it, but it's not the main character. No, it's kind of like, this is also in the backdrop of it happens to be that there's this thing going on. It's a love story about a girl who is so stupidly in love that she's rescued multiple times and unrescues herself in order to go save Jack. And I mean, I'm not even going to start on the whole thing. He done number one. Let's nip this in the bud already, okay? I'm sounding like I'm Vince Russo. Let me tell you something, bro. This right here, bro. We gotta go and bite this right now, bro, in the butt, bro. Okay, bro. I swear to God, bro. That's how the guy talks. There's that scene that everybody complains about. He could have fit on the board. How come she didn't let him on the board too? There was plenty of room. They literally show both of them getting on it, and the thing is sinking. And as soon as he gets off, the thing sets itself right, and he gives it up for her. Okay, so no more hating on Rose, saying that she could have let him onto the thing. There wasn't enough room. He couldn't get on there. The two of them, the weight was too much.
She could have got off it and just drowned with it.
She could have killed herself and let him live in the process, but then...
Or she could just kill herself with him. If she really loves him.
That's true, because then we wouldn't have to have all these scenes with the old woman in the beginning, in the middle, and the end of the movie, because she wouldn't have been alive.
Yep, exactly. I do disagree with you 100% on the scenes with the old woman, because that was very important to set up the sequel, which is so much better than Titanic.
Oh, yeah, there's a quote unquote sequel where they just took scenes from other movies that these people were in and just kind of.
If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and look for Titanic to the Surface. Much better movie.
What?
There's also the Michael Bay Titanic, if you haven't seen that one, where everything just basically explodes. The tables roll down and hit the wall, and they explode.
Yeah. Everything explodes. Everything was explodes. There's got the scene where he paints her, or where he draws her naked. That was like a big scene. I remember, like, here I am 17 years old watching this and going, oh, I thought she'd be hotter.
Or maybe she is when she's the older version.
It's amazing how many people who are in this who I've seen in actually all the people I've seen in other movies. I only remember two of them. I remember, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio. We've already reviewed like 3 or 4 of his films, and Victor Garba. Victor Garba is the guy who was like the architect for the ship. He was very stoic, and he was like, he was like setting the clock while the ship's sinking. He's still worried about like making sure that the clock was set correctly, like stuff like that. He is, if you ever watched Alias, he plays the dad in Alias. He's also been in a few other things, and he's a very good character actor. He's one of the guys I don't like. He's also, I think he was not Heroes, Legends of Tomorrow. He was one of the heroes on Legends of Tomorrow as well. And he is just one of those like actors that I kind of follow, even though like I'm not trying to, but he just happens to be in a lot of stuff I watch. I'm like, oh, look who it is.
It's funny you mentioned Aliens.
I didn't mention it.
Yeah, you did. You said Aliens, the dad in Aliens.
I didn't know Alias.
Oh, Alias. Okay, well, it's funny. It's funny that I misheard you and you mentioned Aliens.
No. He's the dad in Alias with Jennifer Gardner.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that one there, that's actually he's like the strongest thing in that show. If you ever watch Alias, it's like you'll know who I mean when you watch it the first time, like, that one guy was a really good actor. That's Victor Garber. That's the guy, right?
Well, on that note, since I did mention aliens, next week we're having a big movie review.
If you want to pop chicks who kick ass, that's next week, man.
That is all next week. If that's what you've been waiting for, you may want to tune out, but I still recommend staying. But definitely be with us next week because we're going to be doing Lack, that's the initials. LAKAAC. We've got Lucy, we've got Aliens, we've got Kill Bill, we've got Alita, we've got Atomic Blonde, and we've got Columbiana all next week.
You must have huge rats. There must be big rats. That's what it was. It must be a big rat. Huge.
So are you talking about Ninja Turtles now?
That was in Kill Bill.
I know. All right, but we got a topic to talk about tonight.
Yep. We have to talk about this disappointment or anticipation. Disticipation. What's that term they came out with when the Star Wars sequels came out? The prequel sequels. I mean, like you anticipated this and then it sucked. And disappointment. That's what it was. And disappointment.
I've never heard that saying before.
Yeah, that's when you're looking forward to something for a long time, and when it finally comes out, you're like, oh.
Yeah, and then there's people that were camped out waiting for that movie, like for days in front of the theater. Man, they must have stunk.
Dude, I went and the people, yeah, they must have really stank. But I went to like in our city here in Waterbury. They did a midnight showing, and I was working. I'm working at Radio Shack, and like me and my buddies at Radio Shack were like, "Hey, you want to go see the Star Wars movie?" And I'm like, "Well, dude, I didn't buy tickets ahead of time." I was like, "Neither did I. Let's just go see down there. If we can't get tickets, we'll go do something else." It's like, okay, we go down there. We got tickets.
Yeah,
the third showing,
and
I'm like, "This is Waterbury, man. People in Waterbury, they will sell out anything you could do at home." But when it comes to like tickets to go to anything, they don't want to. Nobody wants to go.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. You've been looking forward to. Yeah, it'll be on DVD in a couple months. I'll wait.
All right, so let's get started on the topic. We waited this long to get to it, and now we're going to talk about games that we waited for.
But before we get into it, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I'm just kidding. Let's go. Actually, do it.
And also make sure to go to Rally's to buy their sparkling fruit water. Man, that's been a long time since I had some of that stuff.
Oh, I thought you were drinking it right now.
No, I haven't had that in a long time. Maybe I'll go back and see if Rally's will sponsor us. Anyway, so our topic tonight are games that we were waiting for, games that were, in our mind, in the back of our head, maybe we're delaying for some reason, but we kept looking into them. We had them on pre-order, whatever, and they were trash when we got them. And so, as always, with the topic, we got to start with the topic creation item, I guess. I don't know how to say that, but whatever. Which actually is going to be a twofer when I do this one, because this one comes in the same series. So it's kind of let me down and then let me down again. But the one that brought this about, this is classic. I used to pre-order games at GameStop like as soon as I could when it was something that I definitely wanted to get. This one I'll never forget. I walked up to the guy and gave him the ticket for my pre-order, and he looked at it and he said, "Wow, you like pre-ordered this a year ago." So I was definitely prepared to get this. I had actually played the demo that came with another game. And then I finally got into it, and I pushed my way through about a third of this game before I realized it just utterly sucks. And we're going to go ahead and share that, and that would be this game right here. Final Fantasy VIII. one of the biggest, if not, well, the second worst game of the series, and probably the biggest kneecap to me letdown that ever exists in the series. I could not stand the draw system. I just could not stand it. Junction system, fine, I can deal with that. But I'm one of those people that if I can get something, I'm going to 99 it if I can. And the draw system will let me do that if I wanted to devote my life to the game. So, yeah, I didn't, this was like the first Final Fantasy game that I hadn't actually pushed my way through 10. And later I did get the remaster version and I did beat it. And the reason why I beat it was because it does have the cheat option where you can just get an item and then 99 it. And I thought, well, I would do that anyway. So now I don't have to worry about all that sucky drawing. And I beat it in like 20 hours. And I don't think I'm ever going to pick it up again. But at least I've gotten through it now. And it was also, the story was disappointing. And I can't believe they went into space. That's a whole new issue with it, with that game. But yeah, not too happy with this one, Ben. I think you like this one. I'm sorry.
I do, but it's not like, it's liking Final Fantasy VIII is like saying, oh, this guy over here is my favorite dentist.
Yeah, exactly. I understand.
Or like going to the dentist. If I did, I mean, like, I beat Final Fantasy 1, and I like Final Fantasy 10 better than 8. So it's not like it's my favorite one, but I only liked it because like at a certain time, like I heard the sound. I like the soundtrack, and it's associated to me with somebody who passed away. So it's like,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So the other one I want to talk about was the final coffin and the nail for Final Fantasy. And what happened with this one was, this is one I purposely put off because I wasn't really gaming as much. I knew about it, but I just, for something about it, just told me like, don't go out and get this. And I think it's because I kind of saw how the game worked. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be my style. But I'd always keep looking into it, and I'd always hear these stories like, dude, this game's so amazing. It's so awesome. It's like the greatest one of the series. So I finally said, okay, I've been wanting to do it. I did it, and it is complete dog crap that I played for about 30 minutes. And that would be this Final Fantasy right here, Final Fantasy 12.
Is that the online? Or is that 11?
No, this is not online. This is the one that mimics online. And which I was going to say, if I wanted to play an online MMORPG, I'd play an online MMORPG. I don't want to play an MMORPG. Put the O in it if you're going to do that. So, yeah, this is what killed Final Fantasy for me completely. Now, I did go back eventually a few years ago and did 13, which I actually kind of enjoyed 13. I didn't like 13.2 all that much, or 13.3, I guess. But 13 was okay. Everything else, Final Fantasy, after 10, when you get into Crisis Core, when you get in 10.2, when you get in 12, all of that's not even worth touching. So that's my take on that. So, Ben, your turn.
The one blonde guy in the picture, he looks like Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay, so like, okay, that guy there, yeah, he looks like Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Well, he looks like a certain actor that I can't think of his name, but he played, I think, Adam in Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can find him really quick. You'll know him when you see him. Of course, I'm not doing in that browser. But he's pretty famous. It's this guy right here.
James Marsters.
Will Poulter.
Oh, okay. Let's look at James Marsters, who played he played Spike on Buffy the Vampire.
Okay, so let's compare them. So I got Google Images up here. So here's Will Poulter. Let's start with him.
Okay.
This is Will Poulter.
Okay.
So who is your guy, James? What was his name?
Marsters. MAR. Yeah, like that. Yep.
Your guy's a little older, but I recognize this guy too.
Yeah, like was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th pitcher down is probably
What, this one here?
Nope.
Or this one?
That one. Yep.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, so let's look at this guy here. So there he is.
Yep.
Let's see if you can zoom or I can't zoom in. So there he is. Now let's look at let's look at James Marsters really quick. Cheekbones are a little bit different. Hair is pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
So now we'll go back and we'll look at him again. And now we'll go to Will Poulter.
What about the bad guy from Resident Evil?
What is his name? It starts with an A. Come on. Wesker. Yeah, it starts with an A. Albert Wesker.
Yeah, Albert Wesker.
Are you talking about the actor?
But he just looks like the character. He looks like Albert Wesker. He's typing in Albert Wesker right now. So he kind of looks like. I mean, I think it's just because it's the slick black blonde hair is what's doing it.
I think this guy in the Final Fantasy one looks more like he'd be more of a goober than Albert Wesker would be. Albert Wesker looks more like a douchebag. This guy looks like he probably defrag your hard drive and then stumble and spill coffee everywhere. So
I am invincible.
Yeah. All right, so I'm passing the mic over to you, Ben. What's your first one, so I can start typing it in?
Hold on. Actually, I have a URL. I already have it up. So I think
you want me to stop sharing then?
Yeah, you stop sharing and I'll share it.
Okay. All right. Let me find my stop sharing. There we go. I'm off.
Okay. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Giggity goo. Duke Nukem Forever.
Ooh, I got stuff to say about this.
So first of all, I pulled up this picture. This is a pretty legendary internet story. So this guy went on. He went through a GameStop apparently from Houston, Texas, and he pre-ordered the game in 2001. During the process of waiting for Duke Nukem, which ended up being over 10 years later, they deleted his pre-order, which is actually pretty common practice in GameStop. They actually will do this. I remember seeing this happen. They were canceling pre-orders for people who had long pre-orders, and we were just absorbing the money into our system. So one of the guys who I used to work with, he ended up getting fired over stuff like this, would cancel out people's pre-orders and just take the money himself.
Whoops.
Yeah. So, but anyways, that aside, this person still had the receipt. They brought their receipt in and they honored it, giving him $10 promotional not found is what it says right here. It says discount $10 promotion not found. That is clue that tells me that they lost this pre-order and they're honoring it anyways.
Yeah.
Because when I worked there, we used to do stuff like that all the time as a way of making things right with a customer. We would do a promotion not found, give you like $5 off or whatever, just to get you to shut the hell up and get out of my store.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he used it to get his copy of a horrible game that people waited forever to come out. It was supposed to be the sequel to Duke Nukem 3D. People were waiting for it because Duke Nukem 3D was so popular and did so well, and it was an okay game. I'm not gonna say it was the greatest game. I enjoyed it, but I could tell if you went and said Duke Nukem sucked, I'm not gonna sit there and argue against you. But Duke Nukem Forever came out, and I remember playing it, and it is just like it has the same problem that my next game also has, where it feels like even though all this time has gone by and all this time with development has gone by, it still feels like they developed it 10 years ago. Or now in this case, it'd be like 20 years ago, where nothing is new. There's no enhancements to the controls. There's no quality of life enhancements that we have nowadays, because it was whatever the quality of life enhancements were when the game started development. 2001 is what you got in 2011.
Yeah.
Which, gaming changes. Like, I could take Mario Brothers the way it is because I've always played it that way. But if they release Super Mario Brothers today, and release it the same way it was in 1985, I'm gonna be like, well, dude, it's been 40 years. You're telling me there's been no advancements since then, even in 2D 8-bit gaming? Or yeah, there's been no advancements, and there has been. Of course, there's been. So it's still how Duke Nukem felt. It had the disappointment or whatever that word is that this huge build up. I didn't pre-order it. I knew not to pre-order it because it kept getting pushed and kept getting pushed and kept getting pushed. When I pre-order a game, I like to have an actual end date. Like, this is going to come out, and maybe they'll push it back a week or something, but that's it. This guy, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Duke Nukem Forever?
Okay, so Duke Nukem Forever is the Pixels of video games, whereas I said Pixels is the Nickelback of music. I think a lot of people jump on Duke Nukem Forever and say, "Oh, that game sucks," and it's like, "Well, did you play it?" No, I didn't. Well, then how do you know it sucks? You're just hearing that from other people.
It's not the first game ever. It's playable, but it's not as good as we were hoping for. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
But here's the thing: is I played. I'll be honest. I didn't play all the way through it. I played halfway through it, and it wasn't that good. But I had also purchased the DLC add-on adventure because I played through this about 3 years ago for the first time. Well, not technically for the first time, but sort of for the first time. So I felt obligated to play the DLC adventure that I got because I paid money for it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that DLC adventure was spot on good. And that made it worth the whole purchase.
I think I might have bought a copy of this when it was like dirt cheap. It was like $2 or something for the game. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'll get it. I think I did. I might have said no to even then. I don't know. I just remember, I think I rented it. And it was one of those where, like, when you rent the game, you put it in the system, you played it for 5 minutes, and you're like, shit, I just wasted my money.
Yeah. That's what this list is all about.
Yeah, like, I'm not enjoying this. I was hoping, because like I knew the game sucked when I put it in, but I didn't think it was going to suck. Like I said, like it's a playable game. It's not like it's a broken game. This is not a broken game. You could play through Duke Nukem Forever if you wanted to sit there, but you're not going to enjoy it. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, shooter, and it has these. It kind of interjects things that's trying to be risky with, like, for instance, the I know I'm saying risky, not risque, which it does interject things to make it risque, but it has things where, like, in the beginning where you have to drive, you get shrunk down, you have to drive the Jeep or something, and it feels like it's trying to be like a Halo driving type thing, but it's trying to be its own thing, and I don't think it works too well. But I will say that if you can get this cheap and you can get that additional DLC quest, do it, because the DLC quest is definitely good.
Yeah, so I'll keep that in mind. I never played the DLC quest. I only played the base game, and like I said, I didn't. It wasn't that there was a level of enjoyability to it, but like also, like, I've gotten older. I'm in my 30s now playing this. I mean, now I'm in my 40s, but I wasn't, like, at the time in my 30s playing this when this was like a game that I thought was great when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And like the same jokes. It's like if you went back and listened to the Howard Stern show. I did that yesterday. So I'm like hanging out with my ex, and I know we're not getting back together. I'm just hanging out with her because there's a whole long story I could tell you off the air about it. And she's like, "Do you remember when we used to drive around and listen to Howard Stern?" And XM Radio has turned on everybody's radio for 3 months. Sirius XM is because they're trying to get people to resubscribe to it. So everybody who doesn't have a subscription right now, if you have an XM Radio in your car or Sirius XM Radio, they activated it for 3 months. So I knew that. So I went ahead and I put the XM Radio on, and I switch over to Howard 100, and we're listening to it. And within a minute, we both, I'm driving, so we didn't look at each other, but it was one of those moments where you kind of like, you feel like we're both looking at each other saying like, no. Like, she's basically said, "Can you turn this off?" I'm like, yes, definitely. I'm going to turn this off because I'm not finding this entertaining at all because I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
these examples of growth, which actually are nice and nice to have these examples of growth. But it's like, it's like you're not the same person anymore. I'm like the same thing with Duke Nukem. These jokes are not landing with me anymore. I'm not a teasing.
And I'll be honest, they never did with me. I didn't like Duke Nukem 3D.
I thought it was great because I thought like, oh, this is like Doom, and it's also funny.
Yeah.
It's like, but now it's like, and I'll still play Duke Nukem 3D because it's a product of its time.
Yeah.
Same with like, I'll play Super Mario Brothers 1 and enjoy it, but it's a product of its time. But if you came out with the same product today, I'm not gonna like it. And it's like, but Ben, it's the same product. Yeah, but it's not from 30 years ago when it made sense. It doesn't make sense anymore. I can't put myself in that mindset of where I was then. Now it's like you're telling me these jokes that I don't find funny anymore. Well, you found it funny when you played it 2 minutes ago on the older game because it was on the older game. That's part of it.
Yes, you're going to do humor in something. You got to realize that your humor can most likely become outdated. But if
I'm listening, if I'm playing it now and if I'm laughing at a joke or something, a reference that's made in Duke Nukem 3D, I'm not necessarily laughing at the reference. I'm laughing at remembering when I first heard it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
But yeah, it just you can make your game funny. You just know that it's going to be outdated probably, but just make sure you to make it fun, because even if it's not funny, if it does get outdated, the most important thing is the game is still enjoyable to play.
Yeah. But so that is my thoughts on that's my game, Duke Nukem Forever, the game that took forever to come out. I actually thought they never should have came out with it. I'm like, you know what? Never come out with it. That would be the joke. It'll be this running joke that we're constantly waiting for Duke Nukem Forever and for Half-Life 3.
Okay, so this next game that I'm going to bring to the table is one of the 3 reasons why I actually picked up a PlayStation 2. And this was the third one that finally pushed me over the edge. So I ended up picking up, I wanted to get Street Fighter EX3, I wanted to get Final Fantasy X, and I wanted to get this game. Ironically, out of those 3, I still have Street Fighter 3, I still have Final Fantasy X, and this game I sold within 4 days after I got it to Matt. And I'm sorry, Ben. I know you said that this is important to you, but it would be this game right here. This game sucks.
Dude, I bought a whole game console for that game.
Absolutely sucks. And I think the writing was on the wall already, because I ended up picking up Grand Theft Auto, the first one, and I had so much fun with it because oh yeah, I get to steal cars and run over people and shoot cops and blah blah. Yeah, this is so fun. And then they came out with the Grand Theft Auto London expansion pack, and I was stealing cars and running over people, and then I got Grand Theft Auto 2, and I was stealing cars and running over people. And then I'm like, oh, it's 3D, this is gonna be cool. In 3D I get to steal cars and run over people. And it just got so boring, just this open world, that's like all I felt like I was doing. And the best part about this game, what made this so worth it, was that at the time I was working for a internet company. And one of the reasons I hired, because I was a gamer. There's a big deal there. And a couple of the guys there, every single day, they would talk about what they did in Grand Theft Auto 3 the night before. They'd be like, yeah, I went up the building, I was sniping people, and blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I got to hear this every single day. And then evidently one day it just kind of stopped. And I realized it stopped, and I waited a while, and 6 months later, okay, so I forgot to preface something with it. One of the guys said, yeah, this game's so great, I could play this every day for the rest of my life. 6 months later, I asked him, hey, I haven't heard you guys talking about Grand Theft Auto 3. He goes, I don't play that game anymore. But I thought you were going to play it for every day for the rest of your life.
Well, the Vice City came out, and then they had upgrades.
Yeah. So screw this game. This series sucks. And feel free to leave a comment if you want. We'll be welcome to read your comment on the air on our next episode.
I remember hearing all the hype about this and literally going out and buying a PlayStation 2 because I didn't have a PlayStation 2. I had a GameCube. This way. And I went and I bought a PlayStation 2 just to play Grand Theft Auto 3. And it was one of the things, like, I was not disappointed that I went out and spent all that money.
I evidently was, because 4 days later, I didn't have it anymore. And I'm totally fine with that.
All right. I mean, it's a legendary game series that millions of people have enjoyed, and if you're just not one of them, that's that's not your bad taste is not any reflection on you.
Exactly. Hey, Ben, at least I've got taste.
Yeah. Oh.
All right.
Next up, I gotta go and pull up this real quick because like I'm multitasking tonight.
Congratulations, Ben.
I slept forever this afternoon, so I'm trying to make up time here.
That you slept forever. You slept Duke Nukem forever.
I slept Duke Nukem forever.
Okay.
I'm just gonna. I mean, I should just bring up this whole page I'm looking at now with all these different pictures. But let's see here. No, I don't want to buy the game.
Of course you did, Ben. You loved it the first time. There is a better
time, folks. When it's laundry machines in the same room he records in. If you guys,
yeah, it absolutely is. No, it's the fact that I don't have really carpets in my house.
Yeah, I was talking about that yesterday with somebody about how carpets are completely passe now. It's like my cousin is he's a contractor, and for a while he said his number one job was going into people's houses and pulling the carpets out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's nice because I could just sit here and at this volume I could say, "Hey, do you want to get together for dinner?" And then my neighbor like, "Sure, I'll come right over."
All right, let me share my screen. I pre-ordered this thing as soon as they announced it. I literally was looking forward to this so much. And because Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 are very relaxing games. Like, they're action adventure games, but at the same time, it's such a slow pace game that you can really like engulf yourself into the world, and you can do stuff like over here. This guy, you can go and play. Well, here's the pre-order over at COG. You can go and play like different games and like mini games within it and stuff too, and just kill time. Like right here, they have it where he's doing the punching game. That's one of the games you can do, and the punching game helps you with learning how to do the fighting techniques. And here you could here's actually a fight that he's having where this guy's learning he's learning how to do the tornado kick. He's teaching you a technique, and you can learn techniques and stuff, and it's really cool and stuff like that. But at the same time, all this time waiting for it to come out, like Shenmue 2 came out on Dreamcast to show you how old Shenmue 2 is. So Shenmue 3 was like, decades in the making and all this other stuff. And then when we got it, and it was just like, the game felt like it was coming out for Dreamcast.
Okay, so Ben, just so you know, just like when we were talking about Grand Theft Auto 6, this game is also French. So you're mispronouncing it. It's Chez-moi-toi. I mean, look, the picture right there. She's got the little French
Correct. Yeah, you're right. Yep. She looks. Do you know what she looks? She looks like Rebecca from Resident Evil with the beret.
Rebecca Chambers. It's a whole crossover thing. You put Rebecca Chambers in this, and you put Will Poulter in Final Fantasy 12, and then you create this whole open world where everything just meshes with everything.
So the game comes out and it feels so old school that like controls that this is the stuff I was leading into before, where what was wrong with Duke Nukem Forever. It feels like it was still set in the date they began developing it, which is not good. There's a lot of stuff that was not there that we're used to now in these type of games. So they are releasing an enhanced edition. This is what I have pulled up now. I don't have a date on this yet. But it's going to have enhanced graphics. It's going to have 4K textures, and all the graphics will look better, which is whatever. I don't give a shit about that. They're going to fix a lot of the gameplay issues. So I will probably play through it again and see if I enjoy it more this time. I did beat it. I played all the way through it, but I was just like, this should have been a lot better.
Mhm.
This really should have been a lot better. I mean, it was just like it was not. It was almost like when things like when you got something that you're working on and it's almost right,
Mhm.
like it's just off, like it's like if I don't know what it is. It's like if it just fixed a few things, it would be right, and you just can't you can't figure out what you're trying to fix.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Shenmue 3, I'll give it another chance when it comes out, but with like for the standard edition, it's if you can pick it up for cheap. Another thing that I hated about it was it didn't carry my saves over.
Mhm.
Which Shenmue 1 to 2, you can carry your save over, and I figured they should do it from 2 to 3 as well, but
Yeah.
I even went to the bother of playing on the PlayStation because it came out for PlayStation 4, and I went and I played the PlayStation 4 versions of the first two games in hopes that I can carry my save over from the second one to the third one. But
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say I'm just glad that I never even bothered to go through the first one. I don't know what it was about this game series, but it just didn't appeal to me. And maybe it's because it's an open world type setting in current-ish era. It just and maybe Grand Theft Auto 3 also did the open world damage to me because I don't really like open world games. Um because it's just too much. Well, you couldn't go there, or you couldn't go there. Well, what's the best way to go? Well, you could go over there. And it's just like, I don't want to play a game to do nothing. And because that's not fun to me. I want to play a game where either I've got an objective or I have a path to get there. Not just, well, you could go anywhere you want and do whatever you want. Well, that's cool, I guess. I'm gonna get tired that quick because I'm gonna want to do the most extreme thing right off the bat, which would be stealing cars and running people over. And after 4 days, I'm gonna be bored of that.
yeah. Oh, man, I don't know why that thing spoke. That's not this would be quiet.
Okay, so I'm up again, huh?
It's your turn again.
Last time we talked about a game that sold a system for me. This time we're going to talk about a game that sold a system for me. This was now, instead of being 3 games, this was 2 games that make me get this system. One of which I absolutely love to this day, even though the controls aren't really that good now. But every single time I hear the doo 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 doo, I'm like, oh, dude, I am down to play. The other game is complete garbage, but it sold the system for me, and it was a complete waste of money. And that would be this game right here. Oh my gosh. I do not know for the life of me what people see in this game. It's okay. Oh my gosh, it's 3D, Zelda 3D. That's great. What do you do in the overworld? Oh, you just run from one side to another. That's all. And that's the biggest hang up for me is that overworld. You have this big overworld in this game, but you don't populate it with anything.
Okay, I can see your argument with that. There's not a lot going on in the overworld. It's just like a lot of open space, and they could have done more with it. But
Whole lot more. But then there's also the fact that I don't think 3D controls all that great in general. And 3D combat for me is always a big turnoff. Because of the fact that especially with a lock on button. You lock on and now you're stuck with this target while other targets are smacking you in the back. But then you take the lock on off and your swings are going in different zip codes when you swear you had them aimed perfectly. Thankfully, this game doesn't suffer from this, but then there's also the jumping where the camera spins as you're in the air jumping, and it spins you and causes you to die. There's a lot of problems with 3D. And I have to throw a lot of it on Zelda because the big deal was it went 3D. And I didn't get Super Mario 64 because it was 3D. However, I wanted this for the epic adventure, and I actually pushed my way through, and I stress pushed my way through the majority of this game until I think I had to get one more thing from like the water temple or something before I'd go fight Ganon. Or it was a water temple, or was it the mount fire mountain? I don't know, one of the two. And I'm like, cool, I don't want to touch this ever again. And I lived up to the so maybe that's another New Year's resolution that I've achieved, is that when I got to that point way back in, I don't know, 1998 or whatever it was, 99, whenever it was this was out, and I said, I'm never going to play this game again, I've stuck with that resolution too. So there's 2 resolutions that I've stuck to. So there, that's one's mine.
I gotta add something to my Titanic review that I forgot to add. I don't know if I should do it an hour later because I gotta remember to add this in when I'm doing the video. Titanic is Arnold Schwarzenegger's favorite movie. That's all I wanted to add. Okay.
Okay. Got
So, I'm like, Titanic's his favorite movie. Okay. I have the next one up, and here we go. We're gonna share the screen. So I was really into this game called Sea Dogs. It was a PC game where you are a pirate and you're in the Caribbean, and you can kind of see what's going to mess this thing up later. And they had this game Sea Dogs, and it was like you make you buy a ship, and then you build the ship to how you like it. Basically, all the ship building stuff that you could do in Assassin's Creed 4. Imagine a whole game that's just that. And that was what Sea Dogs was. And I was looking forward to Sea Dogs too. And at the time, I had an original Xbox, and it was coming out for PC and for Xbox. And I decided to I pre-ordered it for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
During the time between doing the pre-order and the game coming out, they signed a deal with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And now Sea Dogs was getting rebranded into Pirates of the Caribbean New Horizons. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't really care for the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and the reason behind that is because if I wanted to watch a drunk guy, a movie about a drunk guy, I could just hang out with, I can hang out with certain people in my real life and watch them be drunk and get the same experience. But I bought the game, and it made my Xbox lag so bad. I felt like it just slowed my system down completely, and I'm like, this is horrible. So you're telling me they never tested this?
Mm-hmm.
I was livid. I'm like, I bought this game. They never tested it. They never made sure that the game can handle the hardware can handle the game. Like, what the hell? I'm not like, at the time I didn't have a powerful PC. I didn't have enough PC. I bought it on Xbox for a reason, because I knew the Xbox can play the game where my PC might not be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? And that was my big disappointment with it, because it might have been a really good game, but when you're playing it in the first 5 minutes, there's slowdown already, like major slowdown, like major, like this is ruining the experience slowdown.
Yeah.
Like, like you play no Nintendo games and they got flicker and stuff. It doesn't really ruin it too much. In fact, it depending on how nostalgic you are, it might actually help with the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
But it goes back to like, okay, now we're in a day where this doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no nostalgia tied to this. Why is this game lagging? And it was like just horrible. I forget exactly how bad it was, but I just remember hitting it to the point where I traded the game in the next day and just took the loss.
Yeah. I got stuff to say.
Go ahead.
So I was big into Elder Scrolls Morrowind, and then I found out that they did Sea Dogs. I ran out and I got Sea Dogs. And I booted it up and everything. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I get to, hop on a ship and everything and go out and set sail. Dude, the boat ran so slow in the water. And I was sailing for, I don't know, 20 minutes. I looked back and I could still, I was in the point where I could jump off the boat and swim to shore still. And I'm like, this sucks. So then I heard about them going Pirates of the Caribbean. I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing this. They've gone back to the Sea Dogs name, and they put out, I think, about 3 games under Sea Dogs after that. And so I picked these up, and I think in 2023, I was like, okay, time to play some Sea Dogs. I booted up like the second one and played it for about half an hour. I'm like, nope. But then I'm like thinking, but I got these other ones. I already bought the other ones. So the other ones got a nice half an hour each, and then it just uninstall, uninstall, uninstall. I could not stand this series. I just wish the boats I ran a little bit faster. Maybe they are going for the realism of it, but it is boring.
Yeah, but that was like I actually enjoyed parts of it. It was like the whole thing of like making your ship better, and like you were able to hire crew members, and that was the whole thing. Like you can go to a excuse me, you can go to a port, and different ports had different members of different crew members that you can get, and you can go and have like uh somebody who could like who ran this part of the ship and somebody who ran another part of the ship, like a quartermaster and shit like that. And it was I really enjoyed it. And then like I was hoping Sea Dogs 2 would be more in the same, and it probably is. But like I said, I ran into all that slowdown, and that's just what killed it for me. And I'm like, if you're building it for a game console, you should test it to make sure it runs properly on said console.
Yeah.
It wasn't coming out for PlayStation. It didn't come out for GameCube. It came out for PC and Xbox. And they said purposely for the Xbox because the Xbox was the only system that can handle it. So you assuming they must have did some testing. Nope.
Yeah.
If they did, they didn't do a hell of a lot of it. Yeah. But yeah. But yeah, that is that. That is Sea Dogs 2 Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, so are we ready to make Ben cry?
Well, I saw some of your tabs already. Go ahead.
So this one is probably the one that took me the longest out of all of them to find out that it's trash. And we're talking over 10 years. I purchased this game on a certain platform, and it was one of those that I didn't use this platform at the time because I didn't have very many games on it, so I never really thought about bringing it up. And it was one of those that I'm definitely going to get to this. I hear this is so good. Definitely got to play this game. And eventually, I think 2022, when I finally got a device that would play them, I'm trying to be as like cryptic as possible when doing this. A device that'll play them. I started buying a whole bunch of games on this platform, and I realized, oh, now I can go back to this one that I've been waiting since I got it in 2011 when it came out or whatever. And when I played it, I'm like, and it was a sequel to another game. And I'm like, the first one was just fantastic. And then I played this, and I pretty much hated every second of it. And that would be this game right here. Man, do I hate Portal 2. Now, I don't mind playing it with you, Ben, and I think a lot of it was because I was having fun, like, making you fall into holes when you're trying to actually do stuff. But playing this single player, I can't... The voice acting's horrible. The characters are horrible. The portal gun stuff, it was good in the first, but because it's kind of the same thing, it lost its shine. The puzzles were annoying. There wasn't anything. Okay, so I'm going to say something good about this game. So give me a second. I like the colors blue and orange together. That's me saying something good about it. Other than that, I know people absolutely love this and love this more than the first one. Good for you. I don't want to play this one again. Unless I'm playing with you, Ben, and I can make you fall in an infinite hole. That's the only enjoyment I'm going to get out of it.
I will agree that there is a weak part to this game, and it's the story. The puzzle parts is like what you're playing it for. I don't think anybody plays Portal 2 saying like, I can't wait to see what happens next in the story. Who cared about the story? It's about solving these different puzzles, and I really liked Portal 2. I liked Portal 1. I'm a huge Portal fan. I'd love if Portal 3 came out tomorrow. I'd be playing it all week. It's just it's the same feeling I get playing this. It's the same feeling I get when I play Captain Toad. So
Captain Toad?
Captain Toad Treasure Hunter, yeah.
Oh, I don't know that one. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah, that's a Nintendo game. That one, like, they don't use portals, but Captain Toad is a thing if you're trying to get from point A to point B, but Captain Toad has limitations where the Captain Toad can't jump.
Hmm.
So you have to do it without jumping and all these other rules that they set up, and you have to get through the levels, and it's a lot of fun. And then if you get Captain Toad, you also get Toadette, which is like the same levels, but they're tougher type of thing, and you get to play as his girlfriend, and it's a lot of fun. I think the Captain Toad game is a lot of fun.
Is this related to Super Mario or Mario? Okay.
Yep. This was actually I think it's one of the Mario games. It was one of the 3D Mario games that they came out with for Nintendo Wii U, and you can play the Captain Toad stuff was a side thing, and it became so popular that they just gave it its own standalone game.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So all right, that's my entry. You're up.
Trying to think if there's any more that I could think of right now. And I'd have to go like back into the past and start thinking stuff over, but I think I got enough for tonight. Plus, we're at like an hour and 20 minutes. So,
Well, I'm definitely throwing this next one up.
okay.
And then I'm throwing the one after it up because there's a reason why I have to throw the one after it up, and you'll understand when you see it.
Okay.
So my next one I'm going to do, this was the nail that was in the nail in the coffin for this series. And unfortunately, when I talked about this series on one of the previous episodes and how I dislike this series, I know that you don't know me well enough to know how significant that is, that I mentioned that I didn't like this series. But this is where it all started. I know this game's huge, and I think this game is horrible. And that would be Persona 4. Persona 3 was kind of where I noticed things were going downhill when they introduced social links, where I could go out on dates with characters, or I could go play basketball with one of them. I don't care. I don't want to do that. I'm playing an RPG. I want to go fight monsters. I want to see my stats increase. I want to see how they increase. But it was kind of forcing me into this. You need to do social links. And then this one comes out, and it's pretty much the same thing. And I'm just like, I'm not doing this again. And this game, now you gotta figure, Persona is my favorite game of all time. I put probably a good 300 hours into that. Persona 2 I really liked. I didn't get through it all. I got through about half of the second part and half of the first part. And that one I've actually been meaning to go back to. Persona 3, I forced myself through it a couple times. So I put over 100 hours into it. I didn't put 5 into this one. So yeah, this is where the whole thing went downhill, and this is where the whole SMT thing started really going downhill fast with me. I just needed to finally realize that I don't like this series. Or I guess I could say Persona is kind of an offshoot of it. So I don't like this whole blanket series. So that's one that I wanted to bring out. The other one that I want to bring out, I'm going to check with you to see if you thought of anything before I bring this next one out.
No, keep going.
Okay, this one I have to bring out, which is this game. Well, this is age verification game. Dude, seriously, I already put this in. We're born January 1st, 1960. Right here. Which every single time I see this logo, I still read it as President Evil. I had to bring this out obviously because this has got to be on every single episode of the BM show in some way, shape, or form. But it does fit, because of the changes in this one. I finally really got into this. I fiddled with it a bit. I looked into it a lot. I finally got into it when I got on the Wii. But I got to the village at the very beginning of the game, and you have the guy with the chainsaw, and I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm playing a Resident Evil game at this point.
I don't even know if I should say anything because I think we've kind of beaten Resident Evil to death with especially 4. 4 seems to be like the one that we both agree is like when it has started turning to the negative in that series. And yeah, I mean, what else could what like this is a dead horse to me. It's like what else can we say about Resident Evil 4? People either love it or you hate it. And if you love it, it's probably because you didn't like your previous Resident Evil games because you thought they were too slow and I don't like doing puzzles. And well, here you go. No more puzzles. Just shoot people.
And I think there's also the fact that it has that scene, and it has a lot of these scenes where all of a sudden they push the boulder over the edge and it's rolling, and it's such like a cheesy movie boulder chasing after the person scene, and you have the quick action button press events to get through it, and I'm like, this is not what Resident Evil was. I like the tank controls.
Yeah. It changed the whole thing up, and it's like, and it changed the series, and
Yep.
they had to do a secondary, a spin-off series just to get the original feel back, kind of a little bit with Revelations, and it's like, okay, so why couldn't have this been Revelations?
Yeah, exactly. Now I will say this: I played the Resident Evil 4 remake, and I actually kind of enjoyed that one. I think because it still is this style Resident Evil where it doesn't feel totally Resident Evil, but it doesn't feel like it has those really cheesy button event things, or at least the button event things aren't as cheesy as they were.
Yeah.
So I was able to get through it. But yeah, this series has, I mean, 7 was another one that was garbage. 6 was garbage. 5 was technically garbage. The Revelation series, especially the second one, was amazing. So I kind of realized which direction I need to go in the series, and I have not gotten 9, and I will not get 9.
There is a 9?
There's a 9. I think 9's out already. I don't know.
Yeah, I know they came out with 8 because 8, what's it like? Is 8 Village?
8 is Village, yes.
Yeah, and they sneak the Roman numerals into Village. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 7 was weird because 7 was like it came out in this country and it was Resident Evil Biohazard, and then in Japan it was Biohazard Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So they combined the two names. It's why is Biohazard there and not here, or why it's not Resident Evil there and it is here. Resident Evil, I think, is a better name because Biohazard, it's like, what the fuck is Biohazard? Such a blanketed name. It's like naming something Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Like it's such a recognized name that can be so many different things, but
it's also a Japanese name.
it is a Japanese.
So, yeah. You got to realize that that's kind of the cool name. That you're probably not going to hear Biohazard like a whole bunch in Japan.
That's true. Yeah, it's like when you think about where it is, but like here in the United States, if they named it Biohazard, it's like,
yeah. I mean, it would be like if they came out with the next Resident Evil and they call it like Croissant Lover. I mean, you don't hear many games with a croissant in it. So it's kind of like, oh, this is something new and catchy. Whereas you take that to France, and I guess we're just talking about France today, and they're like, who cares? The croissants, big deal.
Yeah, so. Yeah. It's like I guess it's like if somebody who has like somebody who has like a really weird name, like you've never heard it before, but then like you go to where they're from, and it's like everybody's named that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this really quick. This game really sucks, and it was a really bad idea to do. I
never got into the 3D Metroid. I tried.
And the last one is, this was my favorite series, but then this happened, and other things happened to the series, but this was a 1 hour play for me and never touch again.
Can you go to Metroid Prime for a second?
Go back to Metroid Prime?
Yeah. So when Metroid Prime came out, I saw it for what it is. I don't know if anybody else saw this, but Metroid Prime came out right around the same time Halo came out. And I could just see Nintendo sitting there thinking, damn, this Halo is doing really well. Do we have anything that's kind of Halo-ish that we can do?
Huh.
How about we do a 3D version of Metroid? Dude, nobody wants to play fucking Metroid. Get out of here. And then, like, you know what? 5 minutes later, he's thinking, you know what? You had that Metroid idea?
Yeah. Well, you can say the same thing for this one right here. Is that that Castlevania is pretty much dead. Oh, but there's that game Devil May Cry and God of War that are getting really big. So can we do that in a Castlevania style?
Yeah, like all Metroid Prime is that Nintendo wanted to do a Halo.
Yeah.
So they took what characters they had and they could do Halo with, and they made Halo, and they called it Metroid.
Yeah. So that's it for this episode, I believe. I think we destroyed these games enough.
So next week we're doing Femme Fatale, talking about Metroid. We're doing actually the game. We're doing the movie that, well, one of the movies that Metroid's kind of based on. Aliens.
That's well, yeah. We'll talk a lot about that because I think there's a lot that I have to say about that based on stuff.
Yes. This is the first time that we're doing a movie series where we're going to start off with the second movie in the series instead of starting off with the first one.
That's true. We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, because we never did Alien.
Yeah.
They're both great movies. Alien and Alien. The first 3 Alien movies.
Alien's a good movie. Aliens we won't know until we review it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm giving them both. I'll let the cat out.
Yeah.
Isn't it like this is a new movie? You people heard of the horror, I'm sure. And you'll hear more about it next week. So, Mike, what is the last word?
Metroid.